What's up, party people? This is Tarkus Jude Mossberg here from Facebook profile and Jude's Junk, Facebook comic book shop, YouTube channel, and comic book store. And I have talked in the past when PSA came out and started offering slabs. I wasn't too excited about it. And then I started buying some of their slabs at auctions in like October of 2025. And once I got them in hand and looked over them and did some more research, and that their cases are UV protected, they have a reputation for grading higher. I am really a pro. I'm pro PSA. I mean, I wouldn't send anything to get graded from them, but I would certainly trust their grade. So if they say it's a 9.8, I would trust their grade. One, because their reputation in the card industry is that they grade harsher. And I'm watching The Ungraded Truth, if you've seen that podcast, YouTube channel. And they're talking about an X-Men 94 and a 9.8. And the CGC in a lower page quality sold for $6,100 above the X-Men 94 9.8 in a PSA label. And they're talking about the same thing that I had researched. PSA is known for being harsh on their grading. PSA has heavy cases. PSA, whether you like the label or not, do you want to pay $6,000 for that label? Do you want to save $6,000 by getting the PSA label? I do. I would buy that all day long. And what I thought would be a good comment was, this doesn't have anything to do with whether the book is really a 9.8, of why it's sold so low. The people that are buying these big books, they're not daily CGC graded connoisseurs like a lot of us collectors are. These are investors. They're buying gold. They're buying high-end books, and they just know CGC is what to trust, and they don't know about CBCS and or PSA. So this is an opportunity. If you can see a PSA that goes for a great price, I'd say buy it. I'd say the chances, everything I got and sent to the Todd McFarlane that was a 9.8 came back a 9.8. Because I bought a bunch of PSAs at an auction, good deals, and I still have an X-Men 133 newsstand in 9.8. And it's kind of growing on me, that thick case. I will send it in to have Claremont sign it eventually, but that thick UV protected case, that UV protection is kind of a game changer. There's that guy who has that third-party film that puts over it to make it UV protected, but CBCS, PGX, CGC is not UV protected. So their cases are UV protected. That's a kind of a big deal. But anyways, I've written and been on these forums, and a lot of people are like, oh, PSA sucks. And or they don't like the label. It's all focused on the looks of the label. And I always go back, and you've seen my videos, that I only care about the real condition of the book. Apparently the notes for PSA are high quality notes as well compared to CGC. So I worry about the grade of the book. Is it a real 9.8 or not? That's all I care about. The label, whatever, I want to be able to send it in, crack it for a signature series event, and have it come back a 9.8. That's my goal. I keep trying to turn this YouTube video back on, sorry. So what they haven't discussed, and they're halfway through the video, is that this discrepancy of $6,000, the PSA sold for $15,860, same auction. PSA had a higher quality page coloring than the CGC. CGC sold for $21,980, so a $6,100 premium for CGC. I would buy that 9.8 PSA, send it in and get cracked for a 9.8 CGC all day. You're saying, well, I wouldn't want to crack a 9.8, and I just did a video about people not wanting to crack a 9.8. I got it. I would take that chance because I trust PSA's grading to be harsher than CGC, at least right now, until they prove me wrong. That's my perception, and I'm only collect 9.8s. I got a keen eye for if a 9.8 is really a 9.8 in a case, whether I should crack it and send it to CGC. And I do crack 9.8s to send into CGC all the time. That's why I have so many 9.8 signed books, is that I just take that risk. And yeah, you'll get burns now and then, but the benefit of sending in. I just sent in 40 to Todd. One lost a grade, and that was a Batman 423. I went from a 9.8 to 9.3. So I lost $1,000 there. But in the Hulk 340, that 9.8 came back a 9.8, and I gained like $1,200 on that one book. So those two books, canceled each other out, and then everything else went up the normal bump that they get from a Todd signature series. So that's what you're trying to do, is hedge your bets by getting a lot of books. You're just sending one in, and if it goes bad and you lose all your money, that can be really painful to recover from. So anyways, this discrepancy is purely, in my opinion, from a collector's lack of confidence in PSA. That's all it is. Now, maybe they're not even considering cracking it and sending it into CGC. Maybe they're just thinking, well, I don't know if I can turn around and sell it and make a profit. Well, if you're a flipper and you don't want to crack, then you probably can't get much more than what it's sold for. I don't even know if there's something keeping track of PSA sales out there. To tell you the truth, I don't know of one yet. I need to find one. So if you know of where they track PSA sales, let me know, because I'd be very interested in that. Does PSA do they even have a census? I think they do. They do. I've checked it. But I don't know if they have a website that tracks their sales. Anyways, this is an opportunity. Whether you believe me or not, do your own research. If you have confidence that PSA grades well, and if they say it's a 9.8, it's really a 9.8, I'd buy up all the PSA 9.8s you can. I would. If you're getting a $6,000 savings off a $21,000 book, that's huge. Okay, that's 25% savings off a $21,000 book. And it's an X-Men 94, which is going to, explode here with the mutants coming. That was a killer buy. And if I had the money, I would have bought that all day. And if I had the right clientele, I would have told them, this is a buy all day. I just sold, what was it? Fantastic Four 3? Is that the first Doctor Doom, or Fantastic Four 5? I think it's 3. I have a client, and I talked him into getting a PSA that went for a good deal. I think he wanted a higher grade, and he turned around and sold it. But I have confidence in PSA, a 9.8 being a real 9.8. And I would encourage you guys, this is an opportunity. Their reputation will come up with the market. Their prices will continue to go up as people get more and more confident. So the only reason it's pricing low is because a lot of these bigger buyers don't have the confidence in a new no-name company. They're not no names in the card world. We all know that. They're the big names in the card world, but they're a no name in the comic book world. I think it's a great opportunity. PSA is a great opportunity. Can you get a 94 signed? Yes, you can. You get it cracked, signed by Claremont. That $21,000 probably goes to $25,000. A Claremont signature is not worth $4,000. Okay, just look at GPA. It doesn't matter what you and I think. It matters what people actually pay. And if you can't afford GPA, then maybe this isn't a discussion you want to, get real adamant about if you can't even afford GPA. But GPA shows you the difference between signed books and non-signed books, and it has the historical sales. And I know it's GPA, but it'll show you what a Claremont 9.8 signed for, last sold for, versus a non-signed one. So you get it for $15,000. You go get it signed for $200. And the secret that I always tell you is, when you send something into a signature event, if you have a $20,000 book, because that's what it is, you're not going to pay more because it's a $20,000 book. You're not going to pay more because it's pre-75 or Silver Age or magazine size. That's the loophole. That's the secret with signature series events. You don't pay for all those added expenses. You don't pay $50 for pressing. You pay the $20 for pressing. If you were to send in a magazine size, old, expensive book like TMNT 1, the pressing there is like $50 to $80. So signature series, it's only $20. You don't pay because it's an old book. You don't pay because it's an expensive book. It doesn't work that way. So that's a loophole. You send in your big books. I would send in a 9.8 PSA to CGC all day. It would only cost me $150 out the door shipped to get a Claremont signature on it. I'd have about a 90% confidence that it's going to come back a 9.8. and it would raise the book from the 16 I paid for it to about 25,000. Now I haven't checked the prices on it, but if it 9.8 goes for 21, my guess is that it would go for at least 24 to 25,000 signed. So you invested 16,000 and you sell it for 25,000? Come on. I'd be scraping my pennies to come up with that all day long. Anyways, if it encourages you, great. If you need to do some more research to figure out what your confidence level is in PSA, I say go for it. If you find some deals on PSA, I don't see them widely in auctions, but I do see them keep showing up here and there. So, and I know that PSA had a marketing effort where they went to all these auction houses and said, hey, would you do an auction? Would you do an auction? Would you send a bunch of books in and would you do an auction? So they were out there actively communicating with the auction houses to try to sell their books through their auction houses to get their visibility up. So anyways, if you have confidence in a high-end grading company before others, it could be very lucrative. Happy hunting, guys.